Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everyone, episode 285 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, who's all aboard with me tonight.
This is Joe Butler, and the bottom half of me is a little choo-choo thing.
Hi, hi, it's Trey from Nintendo Main Podcast. Beetle sucks. You need to report him to the Better Business Bureau.
Hi, this is Barry from Premium Edition Games, where you can get our latest available pre-orders of our latest Switch titles, and I will say that my flute appears to be broken.
Or all of ours are, I think.
Yeah.
And this is Richard Sampson from the web YouTube channel Rich KL, where you could find me doing playthroughs of games and fix on various sites. I'd say more, but I'm a little bit out of breath.
Yeah, this game blows, right?
Yeah.
This game does. So we are here to talk about a game I was excited to play and never not excited anymore. The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, developed by Nintendo EAD, published by Nintendo, and came out in 2009 for the DS only.
Yep.
It's on Wii U. It's on Wii U. I played it on Wii U.
Yeah, but you ain't downloading it anymore.
Yeah, can't get it anymore, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was actually like the last game that I bought on the eShop for the Wii U.
But it wasn't like officially released for the Wii U. It was more like just like Virtual Console.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you could buy it on the eShop, which was like one of my favorite things about the Wii U, was that you could play the DS on the TV, and I played this on the TV. Well, kind of. You can't put the bottom screen on the TV fully. There's really weird options on there, but I mostly played with the bottom screen on the controller and the top screen on the TV, which is.
You have to pull out a stylus too for the bottom screen, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, the Wii U control pad has a stylus in it.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's been a while. That's how you know it's been a while.
I always my theory was, and maybe this wouldn't have helped them at all, but I always thought that the Wii U should have come with like a little cartridge slot on it, to where you could like automatically right out of the gate play like DS and 3DS games on it. I think that would have helped the console a lot.
Oh, I think it would have helped a lot.
Probably would have, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have loved it so much because like I said, I absolutely loved playing DS games on the Wii U, and I pretty much bought like all of them that were on Virtual Console. And yeah, this was one of the last ones that I got because I knew that I wanted to play it, and thankfully I did, because I don't have my 3DS I don't have my regular DS copy anymore. So this is the only way I could have played it aside from ordering it again. So.
Would have been other ways that I could have told you, but yeah, no, I don't think you want to do the way I played it, because I played it on a flash card and I had issues.
Oh, I was gonna say I could have played it on my phone, but I mean, who wants to do that?
No,
I still have my my 3DS card. I mean, my DS card for it. So
I actually gave my copy of it away to my niece as a Christmas present, because I didn't have any money that Christmas, so. It became a Christmas present to a family member. That's what happened to my Spirit Tracks.
You gave her the worst Zelda game that I've ever played.
Oh, come on.
What? You must not have played a lot of Zelda games.
I guess you never played the CDI ones.
I have not actually.
Those are not Zelda games.
I know they don't count. Yeah. We did like a top Zelda game. You know, we did our own like Zelda ranking for our podcast. It was a Patreon only episode, and I actually put Spirit Tracks. It's in the middle somewhere, like for my list. Like I put it, I think maybe I would have taken it down a couple notches.
That's what I was going to say.
But I put much higher than Phantom Hourglass because I didn't like that very much.
Yeah,
but you guys did that. I missed that one, unfortunately, because I was out of town on a thing. But I know you did a podcast about that.
Phantom Hourglass. I remember having some issues with it, but after playing this game, I think Phantom Hourglass is a masterpiece compared to this game.
So, oh my God, Mike, that's a.
I really did not have fun.
Well, yeah. Well, part of it is basically they limited your exploration abilities to give you more. I mean, you've got like you got your full dungeons. You're not repeating parts in a dungeon. Thank you.
There's a hell of a lot of backtracking though. that's. But
like, there's a whole. It's a bit you can explore. It's just. With limits, they give you more places to explore and ways to open up more things, which...
That wasn't my issue. I don't have a problem with the way the world is laid out and you unlock tracks as you do things. I thought that was actually kind of cool. It was just, as the game progresses, I was getting tired of the touchscreen controls, and I was tired of being just so forced into them, especially when the game wants you to be more accurate with things. And when the game made me decide to play Pac-Man in the very end, I was like, "Fuck you." So we'll get there. That's the part that broke me, by the way, when it said, "Hey, you're not playing Zelda, you're playing a Pac-Man game," and I'm like, "What? I'm not good at Pac-Man." So, but no, I mean, we should always start with our memories. Like, so I never played this game. I wanted to. I actually meant to buy this on the Wii U, but the Wii U, I actually used it, and I never did. And I actually regretted it, not doing it, because I was like, man, I really want to play these two, and I'm never going to play them on DS. And, well, thanks to you guys and the flash card, I finally got around to experiencing it. That's my history with it. Not much. Richard, what about you?
Well, I had gotten this, I think, for Chris, looking at the date and all that. I probably got this for Christmas one year from either my parents or my wife. And so, I mean, they all knew I loved Zelda games. My daughter has picked up on that over the years. I mean, Mike probably already saw the picture I shared on Facebook, but this was actually when I first played it, I enjoyed it because of some of the novelties that they added to this. I mean, I don't think any of us ever saw a train in Legend of Zelda. Never even perceived of a train in Legend of Zelda.
Definitely not one where you can tap or pull on a touchscreen to do the horn.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Yeah, that's the good thing.
It's like mechanic too for parts.
And it was also, this is the first Zelda game, the first true Zelda game where Zelda is an active component in it.
Yep. Yeah, I like that a lot. Like Extra, yeah, she's with you the whole way from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, and that's a definite plus for this game. And I enjoyed it the first time I played. There was only one downside, which over the years I somewhat forgot about, and then somewhat remembered. And when I agreed to do this episode, and I think that's also what kept me from actually going whole hog in on this. Mike knows I like to do as much as I can in these games, especially if it's like even a Zelda game. I try and do as much as I can in. I mean, it took me like over a year and a half to finish Breath of the Wild, but he knows I like to do as much as I can. And
yes, I do.
This is one you have to really be able to devote time to. As the newer games got longer and longer, you have to devote time to it. Not something you can find everything in a 2-week cycle, especially if you have a life.
or a week, and I tried to play through the whole thing in a week, and
I did too. I hate played this game, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, Barry, what's your history with this title?
So I remember being excited when it was announced, and when it came out, I remember driving to the mall to go to EBX to pick up my copy. As I'm running through the mall to get back to my car, I'm like opening it up and making sure everything's like anything I could do to speed up the process of getting home and popping into my DS. And I was worried that it was going to be more like Phantom Hourglass, which I liked, but there were definitely elements I didn't. And I was pleasantly surprised. And I just fell in love with the world. I loved the train mechanic. I loved that it was different. There's so many Zelda games that even at this time had the full exploration elements, and this had that in a different way. And I liked that. I thought it was different. It was unique. It was fun. And I loved the whole mechanic with Zelda. Like, it took me aback that, what they do to her right at the beginning. I'm like, oh wow, this game goes there. That's wow. And she thought she was a great mechanic, and it was fun to have her dialogue and interact, and it won me over, and it definitely knocked Phantom Hourglass down a peg. And I'm always champion this game. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I know the biggest thing, except for the flute. The flute can go to hell.
Huh?
That part absolutely can go to hell, and that was definitely the most frustrating part then and now. And I don't know if it was the quality of the microphone or if it was just the way it was coded or what. But yeah, that was by far the worst part.
Yeah,
I hated that too.
A lot of fun in the final boss too.
Oh yeah,
so that it's in there. Of course, gotta throw it in and everything.
Yeah, I fucking hated some of that, so I get it.
Yeah, it's like the one downside to what is overall a decent Zelda game.
Yeah.
Did you want me to give my backstory?
Yes, please, Trey.
I wasn't sure. We kind of went out of order, so I don't know what.
I know. But I was going to ask you this. Yes.
No, it's fine. I got the game whenever it came out in 2009. I don't remember where I bought it from. Probably from a GameStop around here, around Chicago somewhere. And I was really positive on it too. Yeah, it was definitely above Phantom Hourglass because I didn't really like the dungeon that you went to over and over and over again. And Phantom Hourglass got really old really quickly. And I always championed this one above Phantom Hourglass. And I haven't played Phantom Hourglass in a while. And I always had really good memories of this game. I don't remember if I played it all the way through ever. Because like I said earlier, I was at the time I was really out of money. So I would, give away stuff for Christmas to my family members because I couldn't afford to buy them anything. So I gave this to my niece who was a big Zelda fan. And I think she enjoyed it for the most part. I mean, she was pretty young when I gave it to her. I don't know how much she played through it, but yeah, I always had really good, I always really liked it. And yeah, I love the train mechanics, and the soundtrack is fucking baller. Like, it's still amazing to this day, and it's still running through my head. And one of the composers has done like a ton of Nintendo stuff and still does music for Splatoon, like on the Splatoon series. So that makes sense because the songs are catchy as hell. And that like main theme, the train main theme is awesome. It's like one of the best Zelda travel around themes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you miss from the new Zeldas that this has that makes me miss the old style of Zelda games and not the whatever it is now. Like music in the overworld, and like and the whole go to the dungeon, get an item, like use the item, that sort of thing. Also, this is like the last we see of Toon Link, of the Toon Link style, which is unfortunate, because these were both sequels to Wind Waker, technically, So, and I always wanted Wind Waker to get a full on sequel, like a really nice looking one, which because it's like now you can explore all the worlds, and I was like, oh, awesome, make a Wind Waker 2, and then we got Phantom Hourglass, which was not exactly what I wanted, but yeah, this is the last we see of this, and it also seems like it definitely feels like a 2009 game. Like I was saying, with all the backtracking and all that, I felt like they're like, oh no, every game needs to be like 60 hours long, no matter whether it's actually the things that are in there or not, And it does, whatever. I mean, I'm glad they ditched the touchscreen controls. I'm glad that like A Link Between Worlds doesn't play like this. Like they didn't just.
Thank God.
It was also that time of DS where it's like, hey, what if we made a whole game where you control with the touchscreen? Like there was a bunch of games like that. I don't know if you ever did an Akami Den episode, but we should do. I would say I'm signing up for it now if you are doing that, because they do have. Okay. I mean, that's the same sort of thing. There's so many DS games where they forced you to play with the touchscreen to control yourself, or like the Ninja Gaiden game, like where you held it like a book when you played it. That was like,
what are you talking about?
That sounds fucking awesome.
I mean, that game was actually pretty cool for what it was. I think it was a GameStop exclusive. I don't think I ever owned it. I always thought it looked cool. But I mean, that was the time, like the DS was king, and it's like you could do whatever the fuck weird ass shit that you want. Yeah. It's how you play the game, So
yeah, it was.
I guess that's a plus part of it.
At least it was past that whole part of the DS library or lifetime where everything had to be DS, kind of like where everything was 64. But instead of just calling it DS, they decided to get creative and just make the names something DS, like Ninja Gaiden was Dragon Sword, which is DS. Yeah. And like a bunch of games are like that. There's something DS in the subtitle.
Dream Drop
Strike. Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that's gone away. And Joel, what is your history with this game?
I don't know. I'd love to have Nintendo games named after the Switch. I think that'd be fucking hilarious. But I remember playing these games in high school. I think I had a whole thing where I don't remember buying them, because if I did, I probably would have owned them and I would have remembered owning them. But I guess we did a bunch of trade arounds in high school, and that's how I was able to play both of them back to back. I wasn't on the last one, but I do like a lot of the 3DS gimmicks up to a point, Nintendo. Because I very specifically remember like the puzzle of slamming your DS shut to like take postcards or stamps or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I remember having fun time with this, but when I replayed it, I was just not having a goddamn good time. I don't know if it was the controls. I want to say it's probably the controls, because I don't know. Someone, like I said, someone at Nintendo needs to get like a brick to the head for trying to keep coming up with gimmicks. And I think some assholes, very specifically, as we've all talked about, was just like, what if we added more microphone mechanics? And I guess that's all they had, so they did it, and it's just like, God damn it! Why couldn't you do like a Bowser's Inside Story where you drive where you put the DS on the side and you do it sideways or some stuff? But I also
that's what broke this game for me.
Then
Yeah,
it wouldn't have ended up on Wii U if they did that, because Inside Story never made it to Wii U because
that's
of that
fair.
side mechanic, because it would be hard to do, like with the different options.
But
you also have to remember they had to shoehorn some of that stuff in to make it, justifiable. Why is there a microphone here? None of our games are using it. Let's do it and remind people it's there.
It makes me so
Yes.
thankful the Switch does not have a microphone after playing this game.
Yeah.
Oh God, thank God.
the other thing that I can think of that's also really weird. I do like that Zelda is your companion in this. I'm surprised we haven't had another game, but I know Nintendo has a really weird issue about not wanting to redo like specific stuff from specific games. That's why it took us so long to get a fucking Paper Mario remake and other characters come back. But a lot of the mechanics are pretty solid. Like I said, it's just touchscreen controls. I get, and like I put in the chat too. I guess you had to have baby hands to use this stuff because I was just not having. I was not having a good time this whole time. Big meaty hands just using this. I played this on like a
No XL?
yeah, I played it on a 3DS XL because what is it? I really want to get into emulation stuff, which is a bad sign now. But yeah, I really wanted to do all that stuff. But I guess some of these games haven't aged as well as I thought they would. But I'm also a huge slut for Zelda Timeline, so I am glad that we got a little more of the Wind Waker series. I just wish they would confirm wherever the fuck Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, are.
They're at the end.
The end of
the
what?
Timeline.
Supposedly they're saying all the timelines converge now into one again.
Yeah, the Hyrule Historia, right? I thought that Breath of the Wild was the end of everything when everything was destroyed.
Also, if you
Hyrule Historia, what came out before Breath of the Wild, I don't think it's confirmed what timeline it was in.
supposedly it's after.
Still in the future. It's still
it's supposed to be. I think
destroyed. Yeah,
I think it is some sort of future, and I did hear that talk even back then that Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom are sort of like so far in the future, but also there was something about that all three timelines converging.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, how the hell are you going to pull that off?
There's references in Breath of the Wild to all three timelines. There is lines of dialogue that specifically call upon three different, experiences that are all in different timelines. And that's what leads people to think, oh, it has to be a convergence of it all. And it could happen. We just don't know how. And I'd love to see them make a game that does that.
Do they talk about how they're
bomb
nice to be really huge and how they had cute faces and all that? Like how everybody used to look really strange when going back to the Spirit Tracks style.
Is that why we both have both bird Zorons and fish people?
Yeah.
Okay. That's weird.
That makes sense though.
Did the Anuki guys ever come back, or are they only on this game? The frozen Gorons or whatever.
Oh, stupid idiots.
They're probably going to show up eventually now that we've been talking about it.
I do have a way to predict the future, I feel like sometimes. So hey.
Well, if it happened, you heard it here first.
I'm telling you right now, when the Nintendo Direct comes out this week or whatever week, that's going to be, fuck the whole Wind Waker HD on Switch. What we're going to get is Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks HD on Switch without touch screen controls.
I mean, honestly, if you took away all the touchscreen gimmicks and everything, I would have really enjoyed this game because there were many times playing this game where I'm like, man, I just want a fucking controller. So
you have one, but you can't use it.
Yeah, so you're not wrong, and that was my problem. Like, if you gave me a controller and you let me use a controller, and I would have enjoyed this game because there were things that were fun about it. Didn't have a controller.
It worked with Tracks. They did that with Switch, where they changed the motion controls into analog controls, and it worked well enough. They could do it for this.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much of a problem with the touch screen myself. I'm more used to it though, except when it comes to computers. I don't necessarily like the touchpads that were on the laptops. But when you think about it, I think I enjoyed this a little more than I did Skyward Sword, because Skyward Sword had those motion controls. Motion Plus, and then that's why I have not ever replayed that one once I beat it.
Do I have news for you, Richard?
Like I said, you can play it on Switch without motion controls.
Yeah, I kind of got that opinion. I was watching last night. I had on a little bit. Zelda Dungeon was doing their annual marathon for charity, and they were playing Skyward Sword.
Yeah. What was it? Whenever I was watching someone watch the Nintendo Direct, and whenever they announced the remake of Skyward Sword, and they were like screaming at their TV because they were like, I've been saying for years, you can just use an analog stick. It would have been super obvious. And they took how many years to fucking do it? Like what, 10?
It was around the 10-year anniversary or something, wasn't it?
I think so.
Really about.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that because I don't want to jump on that too hard. There's a lot of things they didn't do about that game. One of them was not making Groose canon, but that's a whole story for a whole other podcast that we may or may not do.
We will get to Skyward Sword, because I actually bought the Switch version. That is now the only Zelda game besides Tears of the Kingdom that I have never played or beat.
Groose, why do you want Groose to be Ganon?
It would have made sense. It would have been a cool
I
love Groose. He got like the MJF, like the turnaround, heal the face there.
Yeah.
I love Groose. I always thought Groose should get his own spin-off.
Plus, Groose would be really hard to be Ganon, considering Demise is alive at this point. And
that was a better.
Demise
It is.
That was a better twist too.
I think there is a theory that Groose is the ancestor of Ganon.
Can't be. Oh, I guess he could be an ancestor of Ganon.
Yeah, he could be the original.
Well, we might get to it next year.
I'll say, wouldn't it be the original? Yeah, I mean, because Skyward Sword was considered the first one in the timeline.
Yeah.
For because they were in the clouds and the worlds didn't exist or whatever, or they first discovered the ground.
I do want to say a few things about Spirit Tracks, kind of start start this with the way the game starts. Like, the whole idea is that you're an engineer, you find out, hey, now I have two nickels. Or two different games I played in the show where the Chancellor turned out to be evil.
What's the other nickel?
Chrono Trigger.
Oh, I played Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
When the Chancellor turned evil, I mean, as soon as I saw him with the two hats on his head, I'm like, there's something wrong with this guy. And then it turned out he's evil. He ends up taking Princess Zelda's body, so then her spirit joins you, and then you find out the tracks are getting destroyed, and this tower got destroyed, and the whole idea is you have to ride across the world and go to temples and restore the Spirit Tracks. There's your plot in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it opens with in the same way that that Phantom Hourglass opened, as Link is seeing a picture show of the story of the previous game.
Oh, I mean, come on, we watch history documentaries all the time.
Made by Nico, who is
from one of the
old man now.
That's like old, but Link isn't.
Because this is
another Link.
This is a different Link.
Yeah, this is like, how many years later is this from Phantom Hourglass?
I think it's said to be 100 years.
Okay.
Okay. I always thought they were just because they looked the same in their art style. I always figured it was just the same Link.
No,
I was like, why is this guy so old? Does he just have? He just ages quicker than everybody else.
Because Wind Waker, I mean, Phantom Hourglass is right after Wind Waker.
Yeah, they're the same Link.
Okay, and then this is something different.
It's a different one.
His ancestor.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I mean. I do find it funny that the clothes are. I mean, all the guards wear the green clothes, just like Link would. Like, I mean, there's a couple funny things in here that I did like. I mean, overall, the game story I thought was cool. I liked the idea, like you guys said, like with Zelda's with you, and there's some cool play with that. And I didn't mind, for the most part, driving around the Spirit Tracks and going to different dungeons. It's later on when the game just became too much for me. But the part that really broke me, where I thought I was going to have to not play this game, and I got really upset. So I played this on a flash card, essentially. And I tested it. My 3DS could tell that I was blowing into it, but I'm something to do with the flash cart. When you blow into the microphone, it doesn't recognize it very well. So what I had to do is, luckily, I had a pair of earbuds with a microphone on it. I had to plug those in, hold the freaking microphone part almost inside my mouth, and blow, and that way it would recognize it.
I mean, I think it was just kind of like that, maybe. I don't know. I played on the Wii U controller, and I had to put my face right up there on the microphone to get it to work well.
It wasn't the flash card.
I had to, when I initially played, I had to bring my face close to the microphone, and that's a little bit tricky when you're playing a flute and you have to move it and blow into the microphone because you're so close to
the colors. Yeah.
It was honestly a very novel concept. The microphone just wasn't the best quality in the system. And if it was a better microphone, it would have worked a lot better. So it was a great idea.
And if you try playing on a train or a plane or anything, it's no dice on this game because it'll constantly be making noise with the microphone. I do remember that.
Or a bar. People are doing karaoke. You got to go outside for that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
play
don't know many people playing Spirit Tracks in a karaoke bar, but if you
Yeah,
have
I
that one
was.
person, you
By the
are.
way,
you are-
on the last part of this game, I'm trying to rush and beat this game because I just want to be done with it. And my wife want to go to a bar with her friends, and they're doing karaoke, and we're sitting at a table nearby, and I'm sitting there playing my DS. And at one point, I got to the last part where I had to blow on the whistle to play a song, and I'm like, I got to go outside. And she's like, why? And she's like, you got to blow on the DS, don't you, or something, And she just gave me this look, and I'm like, yeah. So I went outside. I just remember I'm sitting outside. I'm outside this bar. I walked about 15 feet away or so. There's a flower pot. So I put my DS in the flower pot. I'm holding the freaking microphone in my mouth as I'm trying to blow and play this damn song and failing. Listen to some other woman complain about her boyfriend. She's like, "Where is he at? That's not our house. What woman is he with?" Well, I'm sitting there trying to blow on my DS. I'm like, I hate this game.
Hey, look, lady, you want to be with your boyfriend? I just want to blow on my DS.
Yes, I didn't want to be at this bar. I want to be home.
It'd be like,
And
listen,
it didn't.
listen, lady, things could be worse. You could be having to blow on your DS here.
They had played
It could be worse.
tracks.
So,
Yeah,
congratulations, Mike. You might be the only person in history to try to play this game in a karaoke bar.
Yeah. I mean, this is also what also doesn't help is that every there was no uniformity to where they put the microphone on the DSs. I mean, if you look at the original DS, it's on the bottom towards the left side with the DS Lite and the DSi and the DSi XL. The microphone is on the hinge part in the middle. And I'm going to bring up the image of the 3DSs.
Well, the 3DSs you can't take into a factor because it didn't exist at the time of this game. So wherever the microphone is there, it's irrelevant to the development of the game.
Yeah, I would just say whatever DS was out at the time.
I was playing this on a 3DS because my DS has a broken screen on it.
I know, but the developers can't take that into account when it doesn't exist.
I know, but I'm going to just point this out. Like for the 2DS XL, looks like, it's on the middle bar in the middle. For the 3DS XL, it's
in the corner, like at the corner of the screen.
Lower right corner screen. Same with the 3DS, regular 3DS. The 2DS, it's on the left side again.
Why couldn't they just put this damn thing? Oh no, the hinges break a lot too. But even weirder, y'all were speaking of placement. The 3DS one didn't even fucking matter because I couldn't blow into the microphone. When I tried to blow in the microphone for a bunch of the stuff, it wouldn't work. I had to physically blow on the screen for it to work, which doesn't make sense to me.
I didn't try that. I just
the microphone on the 3DS is near the screen. In fact, on the 3DS XL, it's on the bottom at the lower screen, right next to the start button. It's very small.
Yeah, I mean, one of my issues with this game also is that there's way too much blowing that the game tries to make you do. Like the first item you get in the forest dungeon is an item you have to blow with. That was my issue. I mean, I don't, and there were multiple times where I'm like, man, why can't I just hit a button and just change items?
You can always flick the microphone. I did that a few times, where you just hit the controller until the microphone registers the noise.
I don't think it would work.
I did that a few times. Whenever you got to that lady, the fortune teller that asked you stuff, I would just flick the mic with my finger until she registered that was a noise. Because I'm like it's 4 a.m. I'm not fucking talking to my Wii U out here.
Jessica would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, I'm like whatever. So I just at a point I was so tired of blowing that I would just flick the microphone, and it worked for the most part. If you hit it hard enough, it'll register.
I mean, Barry's right. It's a novel concept, but man, does not age well or feel good.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, if you look at Nintendo, they're kings of putting in different gimmicks for all their systems and utilizing the gimmicks to a point. And a lot of times they'll kind of forget about it or move on or do other things. And third parties rarely utilize it. Even the Wii U with the gamepad screen, let's be real, the launch games used it, and then later games it just doubled as another TV screen. And Nintendo does this all the time. Even the Switch, the Joy-Cons, what a novel thing, HD Rumble, all that stuff. 1-2 Switch, Super Mario Party, Pokemon Let's Go, and that's about it. WarioWare, the newest one. But otherwise, you could just don't need to use Joy-Cons at all, and you could just play whatever. Like Nintendo doesn't force that on you anymore. And I think this is just another product of that time of, hey, we're still trying to push some of the DS features to try and encourage developers to use it, and it didn't really pan out the way they wanted to. Again, but they did it in a novel way, in a way that makes sense. It just, the microphone itself wasn't the best quality. And if it was a better quality, we would be having a very different conversation. We would be talking about how novel this was and how neat that was, and what a cool way to utilize the microphone in a way that doesn't feel forced because you're playing an instrument. And like, that's really cool.
You know, and it could be, though, that was also part of the attempted novel concept. I mean, we've had how many games with Legend of Zelda in which we have sound, an instrument being a key factor.
Almost every one.
Yeah.
Almost every one.
That was another thing I missed from the new stuff playing this. It's like, oh yeah, like you would have since Ocarina of Time, right? They had
no, the original one had a recorder.
Yes, it did have a recorder, and they did have the ability to
the flute.
I mean, one where you play specific notes to do it is what I mean.
Yeah, I get that.
Link's Awakening had the flute Ocarina as well, with different songs you could play.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could. This was the first time I think they could really give you the experience of playing a wind instrument.
Yeah, exactly.
It was not handled well.
I think it was handled well. I just think the
too much.
The microphone. It was a problem with the system itself, not with the game.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, in order to switch it, you have to be using your stylus. And you have to blow in the microphone. And depending on where that microphone is, how well versed you are, if you're left-handed, right-handed, or how close the items are to one another, it doesn't work too well. I think in part that if it had a motion sensor in it, you could like tilt it a little bit so it would switch. But of course, you have to be, that could have worked better for playing a panpipe.
You know what? I actually agree with that. I think if they'd made it almost like a dummy, like you didn't actually have to blow into it, like you could have done it normally, but if you blew, it just kind of gave you the illusion that you were doing something. I think that would have worked just as well. In fact, it probably would have worked better because then you didn't have to blow if you didn't want to, but kids could sit there and blow and go, look, I'm playing it, but I'm sure that I think the ideas were in the right place. I think the hearts were in the right place. I think they felt around the room like, hey, this is a genius idea, and it was the hardware that let them down, not the game development at all.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, if it would have been more like I could do optional or turn it off, I would have no problem with it.
What if it was your take a microphone on your iPhone right now? If it was that type of microphone, it would have been fine.
Good point. Yes. Okay. Barry's right.
Yeah.
I have a weird question about that too, because I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I gave up like not even towards the second dungeon, mainly because I tried to break it through my lunch breaks, and I was like, I'll just force myself to play it all the way through. I got stuck on the second like pan flute thing.
Yeah.
And I could not get the timing down. I tried everything. I didn't have a microphone like you did, Mike, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like it's physically impossible for me. I keep trying and whatever. And even weirder when I think about it too. So after this, was it Skyward Sword? And then was it A Link Between Worlds?
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
I have it pulled up.
For like release time, I think A Link Between Worlds is after Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword is next after this one in release order.
Skyward Sword is the last Zelda game to have an instrument because A Link Between Worlds didn't have it.
Yeah, Link Between Worlds is...
Aside from just like, I mean, you can still like hit a button to warp, right? Like you can on the Super Nintendo one, right? I was just saying that you get the Ocarina or whatever it's called in Link Between Worlds, where you warp, where you call on the bird, right? The same way you would in the Super Nintendo one.
I don't remember.
No, Link Between Worlds, you get a bell. It's a little bell that summons a witch broom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That still counts as the instrument.
I didn't remember if the it's been a minute since I played.
No, I mean like an instrument that was used for puzzles and stuff. Like Skyward Sword, you play like a harp that you had to do like a rhythm game for. But I don't think anything else has had like here's an instrument. You use different buttons to play it, and you can get different find different things, do different puzzles. Even Twilight Princess, as much as it doesn't have an instrument, you still howl, and howling counts as an instrument for some weird reason.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But, Yeah, if you ever just want to check and get all the list at the Zelda Dungeon, which is a wiki, they actually have on the top of their screen on their webpage, you can actually, the order of the Zelda games in their release.
Oh, cool. I used the Zelda Dungeon a lot for the for like Wikipedia's or whatever for the walkthrough for this
They're
game.
good. I had a walkthrough up for majority of this game. Another thing about the...
You know what? That thing is incorrect, by the way, the Zelda Dungeon.
Oh.
Why?
Because Oracle of Ages, and then it says Wind Waker, it's missing 4 swords, goes between there.
Oh, yeah. I guess, they didn't consider it.
Yeah, they didn't.
I think that's a spinoff.
It's a mainline game, part of the timeline.
Okay, that's another game I haven't played a mainline. I need to play Four Swords still. I have a GameCube
content
copy.
to it in the free version they did that's no longer available.
I have other ways to play it. It's fine.
I mean, the free. I mean, it's the GameCube one and the free one are different games.
Yeah, they're completely different games.
Yeah,
Four Swords Adventures actually isn't there either. Nor is Triforce Heroes.
And where's Link's?
Well, that's okay. I mean, they have it listed probably under. Let's see.
They have Age of Calamity there.
Under other games.
Yeah,
Triforce Heroes, Four Swords Adventures, Cadence of Hyrule, Four Swords.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they're missing. These are not side games. They're canonical stories. Like Link Crossbow Training is not part of the timeline. These games are part of it.
I just like to bring it up in case anybody forgot that that's a game.
I like it. Link Crossbow Training is a fun game.
I've completed Four Swords Adventures. I've not completed Triforce Heroes, and to be honest, I'm not really.
Tonight. It's pretty quick.
I've never tried to finish it.
I'm so glad Age of Calamity ruins not one but 2 different games, and it's up there.
Hey, that's a couple months from now or next.
Age of Calamity is a lot of fun.
Don't you have that on your?
Yep, it's on the schedule. I'm excited to play it. So.
Let me know when you beat it, Mike, because you're gonna go, "What the fuck?" and then I'm gonna laugh a little bit because I said the exact same thing when I beat it.
It's another timeline. It's a.
Yeah.
I guess there is. If you go to the end of the Zelda dungeon where it says other games, that's where all the other shit is.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is they put mainline games in the other games, but they have like Age of Calamity, which is not a mainline game, up there.
I was wondering that too. Yeah, fuck them.
It has. I don't know. Just because it's whatever has to do with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, or whatever.
It's just funny.
One thing that I felt Spirit Tracks does do good is the dungeons are all pretty good.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Five of them? 5 main dungeons you go through in this game?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I made it through all those. I was going to ask, did everybody beat it? Am I the only one that didn't beat it?
Didn't.
For this.
I beat it. I sort of beat it on the Wednesday, just this past Wednesday. It is a trial. The game is a trial. I mean, the downside to unlocking the path to those dungeons is, of course, playing the flute, the panpipes, which
it all comes back to that.
Yeah. The longer the sequence gets, the harder it is to pull off the older you are.
Well,
also the where the like if the colors are next to each other or not. It was if you have to stop breathing to switch from one to another. That was the hardest part.
That was my issue too.
Flute.
At least the game took that into account a little.
I got pretty lucky with the playing with the what are they called, the locomotives or whatever those dudes are that have
Locomos.
Yeah, that have the little the wheelchairs or whatever they're in. I got pretty lucky with those with playing with them where it worked most of the time, and every time it did I'd say oh thank God, because I don't want to do this over and over and over again.
That's when I thought I was going to quit playing this game, and I mean there were 2 times during this playthrough where I thought I was going to take my save from the flash cart and load it on my PC and play it because I just could not. I'm like, fuck this game. That doesn't happen usually, where I just get that frustrated. It was one of the songs. I just was having a really hard time pulling it off, and another time was the Pac-Man stuff, which we'll get to eventually. But those are 2 times where this game was starting to break me down. So, Pac-Man was skill, stupidity. The other one was just hardware issues.
Controlling Link and the princess in the armor is pretty rough. When you have to
again, why can't I just control Link with the D-pad and then draw with the line and I'd be fine?
I mean this was a I don't know. I was yelling at this game a lot while I was trying to play through, and where I'm like, "You stupid fuck!" Was pretty ragey.
Yeah,
interesting because of the, like you're saying, just because control hasn't aged that well, hasn't aged great since 2009.
I mean, it ran with the theme of being able to control where your various weapons can go. I mean, you put the boomerang. Any game you play other than these, with the exception of Wind Waker, you throw the boomerang and it will follow a path. Usually come back to you. When you can select multiple items to hit, bump, 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 it'll bonk, 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 bonk between those points. Here you could just draw the path and it'll go, hey, I gotta go here, no here, no here, no here, no here, the hood, the hey, the heat, the hood, and the hide, and the heat, and the bonk. That kind of stuff. So that was a thing they had to do, and they kept that up because they already had the coding in it. Draw a path for Zelda to follow, and it works. I mean, draw a path for Zelda to follow to break the boulders. Okay, just follow her. I'm following her. Get through there. Hey, I made it through. It sucks if you have a shaky hand and you can't, keep bumping the walls because she stops then.
Yeah.
But, draw a relatively straight line and she can act as your, hey, there's tons of boulders coming at us. Okay, I'm in the front.
That wasn't my issue with it. My issue with it is I was trying to control two different things at the same time, and sometimes it just felt clunky.
Yeah.
That was my problem. There's a couple puzzles where you have to time it, where she does something and Link runs past. And yes, I mean, you can do it. It's not that hard. You just have to put her there and then do your thing. But I'm like, I'd rather just have a controller.
If you don't click the little swirl thing on the armor in the exact right spot, it automatically switches back to Link, and that can be really annoying, especially when you're doing like the burn fight where you had to have, like, that was probably the one that I was most frustrated with. Way later, when you fight the dude with the metal hand or whatever, and you have to have her fight.
Burn, yeah.
And you attack, yeah.
Well, I mean,
like stuff like that.
I think the trickiest one I think was Zelda can carry the key, but she's got to take it to a certain point so you can switch with her, because the other ways to get to it are blocked, like by sand, which she can't walk across, or a pit. So you have to have her carry it, but in the process, you've also got to defeat the Keymasters, which will respawn. So you have to work both together. I think I had to do that a few times, and I was getting a little frustrated, but I eventually did it because it's not blowing into the damn thing constantly.
Yes.
Another thing that I think was annoying with this is, wouldn't it be great if you could maybe hit another button to switch to a different item, and you don't have to constantly switch between the two on the touchscreen? Like that.
Yes.
That was really bothering me. I was like, you have all these other buttons that aren't doing anything. Like, could we do just like, I don't know, maybe you hold L and you do a different one. You have two of them up there. Like, that would have helped a lot. Like, especially for like the boss in the sand temple where you have to switch between like the sand, whatever, the sand wand and the arrows a lot. Like, that was another one that was where I was shouting at my Wii U remote or my Wii U controller.
Same.
Apple's Warrior.
And thankfully there was save states in Wii U. I didn't use them that much, but it was nice for some stuff where there are plenty of times where you go through a thing that takes however long and you'd have to start back at the beginning if you don't save state.
I hated the sand thing so much. That has got to be one of my worst.
That sand boss is hard. But yeah, just like switching the stuff on the touchscreen also, like just put two, like, just let you have two, and you press R to do one and you press L to do the other one. It would just help so much. You got a state you're not doing anything with here. You got plenty of other.
And again, switching between items is like in most Zelda games has never been an easy process.
Yeah, but at least most of the time you can use like more
menu.
You don't have to go to the menu to switch them. Like without you at least have a couple buttons you can use for it.
It's just the fact that it's also the touchscreen. The touchscreen you use for your movement, you use for your attacking because you have to swipe, and now you also have to use it to press a touchscreen to switch. It's just it's too much where I just want buttons and I don't want it's just too much sometimes. And the buttons don't even do anything really. I don't think they use the buttons at all. Like, nope, just touch.
Well, I mean they bring up different maps and stuff, right? Like, the control pad does, like, helps you get to different parts.
Yeah, and left button, the left bumper button actually does activate your secondary item.
Like what? What do you mean?
I didn't know this.
It does?
Yeah.
What's your secondary item?
See, if it's the blow thing, it was the blow thing. If it was the arrows, it brings the arrows out. If it's the boomerang, it activates the boomerang.
You mean whatever you have selected, right?
Right.
That's what I was saying. There should be that. Well, the R one does that too. They both do the same thing. It could have been where L1 would be a different thing you could say.
Well, no. The reason they both do the same thing is because if you're right-handed, you're using the L button, but if you're left-handed, you'll use the R.
We'll make B do it or something. Like that's
Mike didn't know about this, right?
No, Mike didn't.
I mean, I knew about.
Like I said, remember the image I shared.
Oh, I do.
I don't know.
He's that dumb-looking head.
Well, I mean, I do play games wrong. That's not. This game was a combination of things for me. Like, just there were many different things that really irritated me. I mean, at first, I was getting really into it. I was going and doing the little side quests where you go and get new force gems that give you more tracks. I was going for the rabbits until I realized there's fucking 50 rabbits to catch. The rabbits are a little mini game type thing where you'll be driving on the map and you'll see a rabbit on a rock or have a map that tells you where they are. And then you shoot the rock, you go into a little mini game, you have to tap the rabbit with a net, and you have so much time they move around. But
you only need like 5 to get a heart piece. So
yeah, see, I didn't look up what you got for getting more, and I didn't know how many there were. So I was just catching them when I could, thinking, okay, maybe he give me another heart piece. And then it turned out he does not. He just gives you rupees until you get to 50. Then he gives you a scroll so you can shoot a beam from your sword.
That's why I should have did that.
That's when I said that. When I was like, I must have been 20 or 30 something in. I was like, I'm done.
I only went there for the heart piece.
Let me see here. How many did I get in this playthrough? I gotta bring it up now. My stylus fell on the floor. There's something definitely wrong with my 3DS here because I could play it for a little bit and it's like battery low. I'm like, the hell? I've only played you for like 5 minutes.
Battery's probably going then.
Well, I keep it plugged in. That's all I do.
Well, that is older. Especially if it's it ages.
Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Well,
while you're looking that up, my other complaint, or many complaints, but another thing I want to mention, like the way that you travel across the tracks. I mean, at times it was novel, but there was sometimes when those fucking the demon trains that are hunting you that would just like they knew where I was going. Like, yeah, we're just going to cut him off.
Those bomb trains were really annoying, especially when I was trying to get to the fire temple. It seemed like it was the most rage-inducing. Because they were following you, or they knew where you were going, and
they know where you're going, but they do follow set tracks.
Yeah, but I mean, when there's 3 of them, and they still seem to end up where you are, it can be pretty annoying.
Yeah,
and that one was the worst because there was 3 of them there, and there was I don't know, I was having the worst time finding a place where they won't be.
There's I had to take like a certain trail that worked where I went out of my way multiple times just to get past them, and I was just annoyed with everything.
I did it like 4 or 5 times, and then finally it was like, all right, finally this one fucker went like left instead of right. Like, thanks. True. Yeah. But it was okay. It was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, this time around I only got 30 of the rabbits.
Even though I think that is kind of a positive. They at least gives you stuff to do while you're waiting for your train to get from one point to another. At least stuff to tap, including like rabbits and fighting whatever thing comes after you and blowing up rocks. And I found that made it less tedious for the train.
Yeah, and they're less annoying than the rabbits. Although I think I got flustered because the trick with them is they stop every once in a while, and that's when you should really strike. But it's also tricky because even when they're moving, you could catch them if you can predict where they're going.
Yeah, you got to aim where they're going to be, not where they are. It's like
it was still annoying.
or the second they stop, now.
That and the other issue is if you miss them, the order to get them to respawn, you have to go to a station and then and that station sometimes are far apart where you can stop for things. So if that was a bit annoying, maybe wish I had save states where I could have just went, okay, boom, I'll try again. I mean, that's not why I gave up. I just gave up because when I found out the reward wasn't what I thought it was, I just moved on. So
did you have fun carrying passengers with you too?
God,
where you did it happy and you have to honk at the right sign and all that.
I didn't mind it until I realized that it goes on. That there's way more than I thought there were. Because then when I got near the end of the game's like, all right, here are all the force gems you can go get now. That's when I was like, yeah, we're done. But no, bringing passengers, like, because you have to honk, you have to adjust the speed, you can't get hit. There was a couple where they were angry at me by the time they got there because we had a bad trip.
I mean, Do they will they get out? Is it like Crazy Taxi where they get angry at you if you're not?
I think they get out if you
get to a certain. Because thankfully I didn't get that far. I mean my train blew up before before they got angry enough to leave. But still.
Well, I mean, if train blows up, they're not going to have much. They can't really do it. Well, Zelda's a ghost or a spirit, so yeah, maybe they could still bitch at you.
Probably so. Did any of you change the train? Did you mess with the different options or anything, like turn into the skull train? Or I know there's different things you can do.
I didn't do it this time around. I don't know if I actually did it in the other game. Let me just.
I did it the original time I played it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember doing it the first time. This time it was just I just sold all my shit to him just so I could get enough money to buy the heart piece and like I said, try to get a gold card from Beetle. But he put a stop to that pretty quickly when he stopped stocking.
No guard for you.
Yeah, but I think I probably had to restart the game how I was playing it or whatever.
Restart or could you go to a?
No, I mean I think I had to physically. Well, I had to turn off the app on the Wii U to make it think that I turned off the system, and then maybe Beetle would restock. I don't know, because there was weird stuff about that with the stamps and whatnot. Or if I wanted to win anything from the mail-in postcards, I had to turn off the game in the app and then turn it back on because you need to have waited a day for you to get the response back. There was some weird stuff in there like that if you're playing it as a emulation.
I don't think when I first played, I don't think I did the postcards.
Yeah. I did it once because I had to reset the thing, but I won. I mean, you just win more random treasure shit with that, I guess, that's kind of that was kind of you get a bunch of shit that you can just sell or use it to make your train with or whatever, or change your train to different stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I got any of that in the old game I had.
And you can get more hearts and stuff if you use different ones. I just didn't have time to do all that shit and still try to get through the game.
No, I didn't. I had all I just kept with what I had. I may have to look at that in one day just to see what it looks like, all the other trains. I mean, that was a way to give you another link to the previous game in there. I mean,
in the previous game, you unlock them through treasures. This game, I think you have to buy them, right?
You have to take the materials to Linebeck the Third.
Yeah, but you can sell materials for rupees that then you can use to buy the stuff you need to buy and not do all the side quests. So hey,
did you guys get all of the heart containers? Did you go do all the side stuff for that?
In my first playthrough, yes. Not this time. I only cause time crunch.
Sure. I got as much as I could. I think I was missing 4 or no, maybe 3 hearts.
There's a total of 16 hearts.
Yeah.
So even the guide tells you that.
I mean, I figured that out once I got to the second row.
That's normal Zelda games. It's the amount of hearts I feel.
But most of the time, whenever we play a Zelda game, I try to get all the hearts. But for this one, I was like, nah.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Sure.
How
do you get your train to get more hearts? Does it get more hearts when you get more hearts?
No.
I
that's the upgrading.
When you modeled the train, or when you remodeled it or changed it, wherever, I figured you got more hearts for your train.
Yeah, it's the same way it worked with the ship in Phantom Hourglass.
Okay.
And the most important question of them all: who the hell had sex with Linebeck? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. How did they continue? Maybe he cloned himself.
They keep it open-ended the same way we don't know who Bowser Jr.'s mother is. They leave it to your imagination.
No, they confirm that.
It's Shigeru Miyamoto.
He's cloned? He's a clone.
They explain it through Yoshi Island. Whenever parents want kids, they ask the storks, and the storks kept seeing Bowser and Peach together and thought they were a couple, so they brought them a baby.
Oh.
It could be that. I can see that.
Confuse the storks.
Or maybe the same storks flew over and gave Linebeck a son.
I mean, same publisher, so hey.
We'll put that in with more and thank you for listening to Unsolved Zelda Mysteries with Joe Butler.
Has anybody ever seen a pregnant person in a Zelda game? Is there proof of that?
I think someone. Yeah. There's a pregnant woman in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
no memory,
but it could be from a stork.
Isn't the what is it? The guy that teaches you how to use a sword? Isn't his wife pregnant?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. I can tell you. Hopefully next year I'm going to finally replay Twilight Princess again.
What are you going to play it on?
Unfortunately, probably a Steam Deck with GameCube. So
okay, That's not bad then, because
The,
they're
the Wii U HD one's going for a pretty penny now. The Twilight
actually,
Princess. It's like
I have it.
$50 or something. Like or I
If
saw
you have it, that's the
like-
version to play, though.
I know, but I
I
just
have both of them.
It's
Wii U and Steam Deck.
Hey, you know what? Maybe this Nintendo Direct they'll announce finally a Switch port of it, and then you can play that because that.
I mean, if they did, I would honestly buy it
Mhm.
when it goes on sale for the low price of $40. I would buy it, 100%.
I mean,
now I'm wondering if I have it still on the GameCube and on the Wii or just the Wii.
But yeah,
I know
no,
I got it initially when it was on the GameCube.
I would 100%
that was
buy
a better
the
way to play
Switch
it.
because I really like Wind Waker HD. I was hoping would get released on the Switch. That's one reason I put it off in this podcast because I wanted to play that version on the Switch and not the Wii U. But Nintendo was like re-released that, so I just kind of
I think
Well,
the
you know,
first time
the Switch 2 is delayed, so they need something for the back half of this year, and that's an easy filler.
I
They
mean,
can put
I'd
that
be
in.
excited if they do, and I would because Zelda games are the one games that I do buy pretty much. I'll just suck it up and just buy them because I like Zelda so much. Like I regret that I don't own a physical copy of either this or Phantom Hourglass. I'm not going to anymore, but I regret just because I want to have a complete Zelda collection, but I don't have the original ones either, or anything. So other than GameCube and on, but yeah.
Well, let's face it, it's kind of hard to get some of them anymore. I mean, I had
Yeah.
I had to sell some stuff, sold the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, and
I mean,
So-
plus video game collection is the prices are ridiculous where I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Part of me at one time wanted to buy a complete in-box Zelda cartridge of one or just buy Zelda cartridge one. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
I was actually
I
looking
think I
at
have I think I have a couple of the original ones. I could send it to you.
I wanted to frame it at one point with my idea
I
to
have a
put it
few-
in
I
a
have
little
a
frame
few-
with some stuff.
I have ones that I've required from older roommates and neighbors, so they kind of just gave them to me. So I have a few of Zelda 1 and 2, the gold cartridges.
Oh. I might be meeting you eventually. 'Cause I got to go down to Milwaukee and visit my parents, and you're not that far away from Milwaukee.
It's like an hour. Yeah, it's like 90 minutes. Like an hour.
Yeah, there's three
I
people
got-
I know that I need to meet in Chicago area, and you're one of the three I need to meet. So it's on my list.
Come by and say hi.
I will for
Yeah.
sure.
I say to be fair, it as was one thing I've learned recently. If they do end up releasing anything like physical at the direct for like remastered games, just buy it because I did not buy the stupid fucking Mario one, which I wish I had. But
Oh,
then again,
Arts.
emulation exists. So I don't really give a shit. But I literally, whenever they announced Paper Mario, I went out and spent $60 to buy it because I'm like, I don't want to ever fucking try to look for this game again. And I'm pretty sure I've heard people say that it has quality of life features and all
Oh,
that
it's
stuff.
great. It's so much better.
It's good. Yeah, it's real good. The new one. And my GameCube copy of that game, actually, the disc got to where it can't be read by the GameCube anymore. So I
Damn.
was so sad. So I was happy to see it on Switch because because that game's not cheap. The Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, I need to play. I played the first Paper Mario for the show. Barry was on the episode, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I bitched a lot. But I need to play Thousand Year Door.
Thousand Year Door, the Switch, they made a lot of quality of life improvement. The backtracking, if the original version backtracking sucked, and they made it so much better in this, so much better.
I am tempted. I have thought about it. I
Nice.
almost bought it for my son because he likes.
honestly, I've always wanted to try Paper. There was a part of me that really did want to try Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, but I've got that mental block in my head.
But mental block.
Paper Mario, great game, great music, everything. I like the things about it. Yeah, there was probably some negatives. I didn't think much of them, but I beat that game on a day I was home from work because I had to take 2 cars in for an inspection. It was the worst second Tuesday in September ever experienced.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Everybody knows about that day.
Yeah, I remember. I watched it. I was there.
Was that 9/11?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
9/11.
I think so.
Didn't remember.
So, that mental block is now in my head that
Oh, I
the
get
day
that.
I finished that game is a terrible day.
No,
and
that's completely fair. That
I can't get that out of my head. I've tried to replay Paper Mario, and that thought cripples me.
that's completely
Try
fair.
and look at this as like a new beginning. Like they rebuilt. They the memorialized. You paid. It's been years, and now it's like this is a new beginning. It's a new start. It's a new fresh. It's a way to answer back, because if you never play it, then the terrorists win. And this way you say, you know what? Screw you, a-holes. I'm going to enjoy Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. and there's nothing you can do about it. Because that's what all of us here in the New York metro area had to do. We had to build up. We had to get together. We had to rebuild. We had to stand up. And it's a hard day for all of us here. It's a in memoriam here. But you know what? We don't let it stop us, because then they win. We get up and we kick ass.
Oh, a couple other things that I want to mention is I want to talk about the items that are new or all the items that this game has and which ones are new.
Oh, yeah. There were some very good items. I said some good items.
Okay, because first you get the whirlwind, which you got to blow into your DS, so fuck you. Then you get the boomerang. Boomerang, awesome. Normal boomerang. The whip. I like the whip.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was cool.
Whip was
It
fun.
was very nice.
Did any of you make it through the whip race on the
No.
I forget where it's
First time I
Who's that?
played it. Not the second time. I was getting too frustrated.
I actually had fun with the whip race, and yeah, you have to get like under a minute and 15 seconds for the heart piece, and I did that. I guess that's why I
Nice.
fully beat it, because I had one night where I just got heart pieces, but that was fun. I had fun with that, more fun than some of
It
it.
is fun. It is fun. I think it's like one of those things. If you're on a time limit, it's not, quote, as fun. I mean, other than the time limit in the game. But it's like, again, it's for I guess maybe it's also because I'm older than I'm like playing this like after 15 years.
I think it helped also that I played it on the Wii U gamepad, because the screen on that is much bigger than the like the DS or the DS XL. So I think that helped also.
Yeah,
'cause
probably
That
did.
probably did.
space, and so I think that made it a little bit easier for me for that, probably.
But the whip was a fun weapon. There was a couple like at the staff house, like whip, 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 yoink, toss, boom.
I
That
did
was
like
fun.
it. I mean, the bow is back, and you get the bow of light in the very end, where you just have to hold down the bow to shoot a light arrow. Bombs. You get the shitty sand wand.
How long did it take? How long did it take you guys to get the bombs? Because I didn't get the bombs until like way later, because you had to buy them from fucking Beetle,
Oh.
right?
Right after, as soon as they come open, because the guy told me to go buy them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got them as soon as I could.
Oh. I didn't get them until like halfway through, like because I didn't want to track down Beetle, because I was
It
already
is annoying.
annoyed by the travel system in the game. And there's like warps, I guess, too, eventually, but I never really found them.
Yeah, yeah,
You
that's.
lock with the gems.
Oh yeah, I activated all those the first time I played it. It's
Yeah,
kind of
me
fun
too.
because you could actually get out of the desert quicker by doing that.
I figured you can get out of everywhere quicker when you, which
Yeah. I used them a little bit, but not much. But I mean, nice that they're there. I don't know. I just didn't use them enough.
Yeah, it's fun because you could find the exit points at for ahead of time for some until you just figure it out. That's a good reason to blow your train whistle, because you can actually, as you're approaching it, watch it go. Woo. Of course, the second you let go of that train whistle, like, yeah. I mean, I had no problem with the sand wand. I like the sand wand.
That boss, man. That boss broke me.
That
little bit.
boss was really annoying, though. Yeah.
Is that that's the skull? That's the skull tower boss, right? Where you
The
have
The
Tower, yeah.
Skeldritch.
Yeah, where you gotta where you gotta stop the boulder, and then you gotta move the boulder with the sand thing, and sometimes the boulder falls off because it'll I had the hardest time moving the boulder around with the stupid sand wand. Like it was really frustrating.
same.
It can be frustrating, and then you have to use the sand wand to sort of trap the skull and elevate yourself to just whack that gem on top of its head.
Oh, the first time I beat him, and then I got to that second form, then I died, and I ran out of potions. I was not happy.
Yeah, I can imagine that being. I didn't die on it, but I thought I was gonna. I used all my potions, and I had like a heart and a half left on that fucking skull thing, and I didn't remember when I had save stated last, and I'm like, no.
I had a hard time with it.
But
Well,
the whole thing with the rock, like you like put the boulder in the right place, but then he throws another boulder at you and destroys that boulder, and I'm like, you motherfucker! Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
move
pretty-
him quickly or wait until the end of his little cycle.
and then you got to move and have him at a certain place, and then shoot the thing and have it hit the other side. It's like
So
it's not armored, and yeah,
I use bombs. I couldn't hit it with the arrow. I would plant a bomb, run, try to make sure he's lined up right by the time the bomb went off.
Wow. Yeah,
That's not what you're supposed to do.
I always used the arrow.
I used the arrow,
Oh, oops.
but I also looked online to figure, because I was already like, all right, I'm not going to die a bunch of times on this guy. Like, how do you?
I had a guide, and I think it told me to do the arrow, and I just couldn't get the arrow to work. I'm like, fuck it, the bomb works.
I still was using the guide I got when I got the game.
Nice. I used the internet.
But I
Decent
mean,
guide.
there were some of the bosses that were fun. I mean, like Kragma. I enjoyed that one.
Is it the fire one?
Yeah.
I don't remember what you had to do
With
for
the
him, though.
where you get on? It's kind of like a roller
Oh.
coaster thing where you shoot the
Yeah.
different parts. That was,
Yeah.
with the bow and arrow.
That's a neat one.
Shoot the glowing spots. That one
Yeah.
was. I made it through that one the first time through. So I mean, I didn't think the bosses were like overly hard. Except for that sand one was annoying, but I still barely made it through by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, I would argue Fraz is a pain in the ass.
Is that the end one?
No, that's the
Fraz.
second dungeon boss that alternates between fire and ice.
That wasn't that bad.
Oh, I didn't
For
think
me.
that was that hard.
Well, it's like when the later phases come out, like, I'm going to blow fire at you now. So, you're going to need ice to hit me. And then I'm going to blow fire at you again. So there's no ice yet. Ha ha ha. Then switches to ice. And, it was a little random, but, you don't have the torches to work with. He has to provide it for you.
Okay, the ending of that was annoying. The last part, I did have a hard time. You hit him 3 times. Barry, did any bosses irritate you or that you liked a lot?
I mean, the sand boss, like you mentioned, was probably the most annoying. And because it came towards the end of the game, it was like, it's customary. Like, I would expect the more annoying bosses to be towards the end of the game anyway. But don't remember any of them, like, being, like, frustrating to the point that I was ready to quit. And I don't know if that was just, I got lucky or what, but this continued a trend that Phantom Hourglass did and a lot of others where we get unique bosses. And we've seen so many repeat bosses over the course of Zelda or repeat versions. Golma has been there forever. The Dongo's been there forever. Leox just even came back in Tears of the Kingdom, which is great because they took a time off. But this was all original bosses again. And I love that. I love when Zelda gets creative because they're so unique. And, like Skeldritch looks really cool. And even though it's just another skull again, like it's a new version of it. And it's a new mechanics with it, even if he's a pain in the ass.
and it's so tall that it goes across 2 screens.
And 2 screens, yeah. And that's something the DS Zelda games, both of them brought verticality that the other Zelda games don't have.
Yeah.
Even, and I like that. I like when they utilize, hey, we have this extra ability to make this taller. What can we do? And I feel like Twilight Princess had that with the spinner boss. I forget which one that was, where you had to like ride the spinner or the Beyblade, if you will, all the way up. And that had some verticality too, and that was a lot of fun. But it's nothing that happens often in Zelda games where you have that. So I appreciate when they do that.
The vertical stuff was nice.
Yeah.
Actually.
The boss you're thinking of was the Stall Lord.
Yeah. But like again, that was a lot of fun, and that was like the only place you really used that Beyblade because it was such an underutilized item in that game. But there was only one technically quote a repeat boss in these games, and that was, although he's named different, that's actually Fraz, because in Phantom Hourglass you had Blaz. Yeah.
Oh, I did not remember that. You have the giant plant guy that you fight. What is his name? I just looked it up. Phytops. He was okay. You'd like blow at him, and then like I don't even remember what you had to do. Hit him in the back with a boomerang, I think, or something.
You had to reveal his eye, hit him with the eye with a thorn. That was why you were relying.
Oh yeah, with
on
the whip. That's what it was. Okay.
But of course, the really annoying part of that was getting up to him because you're going out, you're outside under climbing up a cliff where you have to whip, and of course, every once in a while you gotta get rid of one of his damn tentacles.
Yeah, he wasn't
tentacles.
Too bad. I didn't mind the first boss either, the Stegnox in the Forest Temple. He wasn't too bad.
Where you
he
got Steg Beetle in his butt.
Yeah.
You got to make his butt less stinky, and then you go over and hit it because it's got all the gases coming out of it.
I didn't mind it. Actually, it was kind of amusing. That was a part where I didn't hate the blowing as much yet. That came later. My hatred of it really comes as the game progresses.
If you go back to, what was it, Castletown, and you play the Take 'em all on mini game, you got to fight the butt guy again. I didn't do that. Even though I know you get heart pieces, I just was like, I'll come back to it later. And then by the time I got later in the game, I'm like, yeah, fuck this. Thankfully, you only have to beat one. You only have to beat the first one. You don't have to do the different later levels and all that to get that. So
I should have done it then.
I appreciated that. But yeah, the final boss of the first level is the butt guy. It's the butt.
I should have did at least the first level to get the heart piece, but I was near the end of this game. I was really hate playing this game, and I just wanted it to end so I didn't have to play it anymore.
And you probably didn't want to like travel from one side to the other map like for 20 minutes. I guess if you
that didn't help things either. I didn't use the warp crystals. I didn't really understand. I mean, they weren't like you had to like
give them either. I didn't even know they were there until I watched like a playthrough and I was like, oh yeah, no, there's some warps.
I knew they were there, but I just didn't use them because I don't know. There was something about them I wasn't interested in like learning them how they worked, or I didn't mess with them, and I kind of regret it. But
yeah, those they are fun for fast travel. I mean, in order to activate them, you have to activate the appropriate main one. And to do that, when you see them, the main ones have a force gem at the top of them, and you just have to hit that, and it activates it. And it's like a quick way to get out of trouble. I was like, oh, there's these tanks following me. Oh, look, there's the gate. Honk. You're out of there. Like the one in the snow realm, the first one you actually activate is in the snow realm, and it'll take you to the forest realm.
Was anybody annoyed by just all the stuff you have to do to get to like the temples? Like speaking of different things, because that was annoying me. Well, especially if you're trying to like speed through it in a week, for a podcast or something. It's like I said, I feel like a lot of the padding that's in there, you don't have to deal with that as much now. It was kind of from a time where everybody would be like, oh, if it's not like whatever, if it's not like 40 hours, then it's not worth it, even though it's like a $30 DS game or whatever.
Yeah, they introduced the aspects that are like any game. If it's a thing you want to avoid, you find a way to avoid it.
Well, I mean, like extra, like where you have to like go back, for like the fire one, it's like you got to go back and get the ice and bring the ice to the fire temple. Like just all this extra shit that is just there just to make the game longer, but it's not fun to do. It wasn't fun for me to do. It's all just fetch questy, backtracky stuff, and I don't like that shit.
I mean, that's a way to unlock the other stuff, and I wasn't worrying about that because, like you said, that's something you want to do when you don't have a time limit.
But it was but a lot of it was part of the regular game.
And it's like sometimes it's thinking things out. You have to think the stuff out. I got to take ice to here, but I've got to avoid these nasty things.
Don't even get me started on that thing.
And also the ice melts, or if you like turn too quick, it'll fall off, or what? It's
just dumb. I mean, it feels cool in concept, but it wasn't fun to do.
Or there's like the forest maze where you got to look at where the branches are pointing, or like you got to do like the wind there's always a thing that you have to do, or like there was the lost desert or whatever where you have to like go backwards to go through there.
That was annoying. I wouldn't have figured that out without.
You got to go through before you get to the temples.
Yeah,
they did put some bullshit in here. At least with like the spirit tower that you go through, you don't have to repeat floors like you did in Phantom Hourglass. That was nice that wasn't here.
Yeah,
very much so. They heard the criticism and they fixed it.
The only downsides are those floors where you don't have a map.
Yeah, when it's all dark. Yeah, that was annoying. The worst part was near the end when you have to switch phantoms multiple times to get the key to where it needs to hit the 3 switches to open the door at the very end. That was like, I don't know. I would not have figured that out without a guide. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I like that. Though the different types of phantoms were a nice little touch. I mean it's another tool to use.
Yeah, and then Zelda can possess phantoms. There were cool moments to it. It's just that when you had to keep switching for different puzzles in that final floor or final couple floors, to me that was a little extreme.
Yeah, at least though you could move easily between the floors.
Yes, I mean it wasn't. I just was annoyed. I was just annoyed at this point in the game too because the game did a few things that really upset me. Once you unlock the Dark World, this is when the game became Pac-Man, and I got so frustrated because you have a track pattern you have to drive on, and you have to get the golden seeds to then go after the train and kill the train like Pac-Man. And you can go faster if you hold down the whistle. Okay, but the problem is there's a top corner where there's 2 trains and 1 golden seed in the middle, and it took me over 6 to 7 tries to finally get it to work to where everything just lined up right. Because there would be times where I took close and kind of wait. Well, they would see me and chase after me and murder me because they move faster than I do. So like that didn't work. It was really, I had to time the portal right, and even then I had to get lucky that they didn't go the way I wanted them to. Like they cooperated and went where I wanted them to, and not said, no, fuck you, we're gonna go kill you instead, even though we don't know you're there yet.
Yeah, they could be good at that, but I mean, there's fun to it. I mean, let's face it, you get that seed, it zooms out, it's like ramming speed. I mean, that's not necessarily something you want to do with a train, but here, yeah, you got to do it.
I mean, it
When
was.
you said 6 to 7, I think you were going to say like hours. I'm going to be like, it wasn't that hard.
No, it didn't take hours. It just took me 6, 7 tries, and I was just like, I mean, first couple tries were fine because I was still learning what to do, but there were a couple times where I was so, like, it happened to me twice where I got the gold seed, I killed one, I'm chasing after the other, and I would see him in front of me, and then it would wear off, and he'd just turn around and murder me, and I'm like, fuck you. That's what did it. It was where I finally got it. I grabbed the gold seed. I killed one. I went and grabbed the gold seed again, then killed the other because they were just not. Even though they wasn't that far away from each other, I wasn't fucking up again.
Yeah.
I did think it was pretty cool that there is like a train boss at the end. I mean, it would be weird if it wasn't. You know?
I didn't mind when you fight the dark train. It was just that Pac-Man level was just so fucking annoying. The dark train was okay. When you fight the boss and you're on the train track, you gotta switch tracks and shoot. I beat that with 1 heart barely, but it wasn't that bad. First try.
And at least they let you save it between then, so you don't have to repeat those two then.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was a little worried, but good. I was like, don't make me redo this. I mean, some of the final boss stuff is cool where you have that, and you have the moment where you have to move Zelda as a phantom to get to the Chancellor.
Get rid of those damn mice.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, Zelda becomes that. Was it the elephant from Donkey Kong Country 3? Like she's
yes,
afraid of the mice all the time. That's kind of a.
I mean,
really extra.
It was a climactic ending, like that stuff. What another part that really made me mad is after you beat the train, you get her to grab the phantom or grab the fake her body, and then you end up shooting her body with the
light arrow.
Yes, there were 2 parts right after that when you go to fight because this isn't Ganon, this is some other demon.
Malladus.
Okay. The part where you have to defend her, and every time she gets hit, it restarts the cycle. I had issues.
Were there at least like checkpoints or anything where if she got to a certain point?
No. But it is more of a memory thing.
Yes, he does repeat the same exact cycle. He shoots 2 fireballs, and he shoots fireballs from each side. Like everything repeats a pattern. The problem is that if you get hit by one, that's fine. As long as he's not shooting another one, because if he's shooting another one right afterwards, it's going to hit Zelda, and then you're going to restart the cycle. But you had to be pretty exact, I felt, with your slashes, and it made me go, why can't I just have a fucking button? Which I said out loud multiple times to nobody.
The trick is like when he's got the 4 coming right in a row, he lets loose 4 at a time.
You spin dash.
Yeah, that's the spin attack.
But it just didn't... There were times where I would do it, but then I would draw on the screen, but apparently I wouldn't draw correctly because it wouldn't happen. And it just got to me after a bit. Hell, even the speedrun I'm watching right now, he's a world record. He failed too the first time. So, it just wasn't easy to do. And I was running out of potions, and I'm like, oh God, am I going to be like, again, it's another part where I thought, am I going to need to load this on the freaking computer and play it that way to have save states? I did not, thank God. But it was a little too much. Anyone else have issues with this fight?
The only issue that it gets frustrating, but I was also worried about because I knew you had to do a flute part or panpipe part in that battle. And I'm like, oh God, how am I going to do this with him firing those balls or whatever he does? Thankfully, it's like a pause in the battle, and you can do it as many times as you can until you get the thing frickin' right.
That's good.
Yeah, so at least that was a plus because I would have hated doing that, and I didn't fully remember that, of course, from the last time I played, but it would have sucked if I'm trying to play the fight and hoot, 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 bam, bastard.
Yeah, thank God they weren't that.
It wouldn't have worked.
No, it would have been impossible.
It would have been impossible.
While you're getting shit thrown at you or whatever.
I had an issue with the flute, too. I couldn't get the song to play, and I was like, come on, Zelda, just accept it and go on. Like, each time she'd be like, no, let's try again. I'm like, the demon is right there. Can't you just say it's good enough and we just play along with my bad flute and just say fuck it? But no.
At least you don't have to be, an expert. I mean, let's face it. If you had to keep blowing and you go from 1 to 3, which I thought I had to do the first time I played it.
You have to skip a couple, or a couple knots, and that was one of my issues too, is because I'd have to stop breathing or stop blowing. Because I would just try to blow continuously to get all the notes right. Because a lot of times earlier in the game, they're right next to each other, and they're not here.
Yeah.
Because you only have so much time to blow the notes before they're like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. At least, though, the they put the more frustrating parts at the front because the last part of the battle is actually I think the easiest part.
If you look at the right part of your screen and notice the big glowing arrow you're supposed to press, and not hit the boss's feet and lose and go through a whole potion and wonder why nothing's happening, and go, oh, that didn't happen to me. Nope.
No experience whatsoever.
I didn't notice the big glowing button on there. Went, oh, and then it wasn't so bad, but I just didn't notice it. I don't know how, but I didn't notice it.
See, that's the trick. You get Zelda at one position, and then you just make sure Malladus is always facing you, and you're opposite Zelda.
Yeah, it wasn't hard. It was just, for some reason, I think as the guide said, hit his feet to distract him. I thought he was going to get like injured and then like fall over, and then it would get a shot. I didn't realize it was you have to tap the glowing arrow at the bottom.
Yeah, and that's just... I was lucky. I mean, when I got to that part, I'm like, whack, whack, whack. Hey, okay, he's looking at me. Wham! And then, oh, smack him again. He looks right at me. Wham! Gosh, second time. No having to realign Zelda or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you're all right. They did put the easier thing in the end, thank God. But it's a cool ending. It's a cool, it's just that there were earlier parts where, again, if I would have had a controller and not had to tap the screen, I would have been so much happier and had a better time.
And you get another head stab at the end too, right? Like when
it's sort of like you're both working together, I think.
Yeah, you push the sword together and shove it into his head.
Yeah, I always thought that was a really cool ending for Wind Waker, when he puts the sword in Ganon's head and then he turns to stone. I always wanted there to be a sequel where Link has to pull the sword out of his head and bring him back to life to defeat some greater evil or something like that. But they never did that.
You want a Mummy Returns? Is what you're trying to tell me?
I don't know. I don't watch those movies.
I love those movies.
Great.
I would
still trying to get my daughter to watch them.
The only one I watched is the Karloff one.
Okay.
I always love Child Link killing his enemies. I feel like we need to have that more in games too. We have a Child Link and he just straight up murks the dude at the end of the game.
We just need more swords and heads at the end. I don't know. I haven't beat Tears of the Kingdom. Do you get to put a sword through Ganon's head in that?
I don't know. I haven't beaten it either.
Yeah.
I don't have it yet.
I don't think you got to put a sword in Ganon's head now, unfortunately.
I think you do it in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, in Twilight Princess you do.
I thought you just stabbed him in the chest.
Yeah, that's right. You stabbed him in the chest in there.
It was just it's maybe because it's like since the graphics are so cartoony, it's okay to just put a sword through somebody's head as being it. It's kind of
yes.
Yeah, because it's not realistic.
I know, but it's pretty savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still epic.
Beat all the bad guys like that.
All right. Any last thing you guys want to say before going to questions, comments, or memories? I'm sure plenty of stuff will still come up. I got way more than I expected.
Yeah, they'll probably come up.
Did I just for the hell of it, I looked at the IGN reviews, and this one got a 0.3 more than Phantom Hourglass, but I got a 9.3 when it came out. Phantom Hourglass got 9. They're both rated by Mark Bozon, if you remember him.
No idea.
Which he works for. He works for WayForward now, or his brother works for WayForward? He was one of the main Nintendo guys back then.
Okay.
Him and Casman.
WayForward makes some good Shantae games.
I like WayForward. They had speaking of Mummy, that Mummy Demastered game was awesome. That was a WayForward game. Yep.
I need to play that someday.
I'll be on your show if you do a show about it. I was trying to push for the greatness of that game. That was like first year Switch release. I had a great time with that.
I've heard good things about it from a lot of people that I just never got around. I own it on Steam.
It was fun. It's one of the great game for awful movies thing. I didn't see that one either. I just heard it was awful. But the game was
Tom Cruise running. I kind of want to see the movie, but all right. From the first group, I'm going to read from. I'm not going to read all these, but I'm going to try to read what I can. I watched the entire Blood Super replay. From Star Myers, friend of the show. Man, my best friend who was a Nintendo Zelda nerd loved this game when we were younger. I wonder if it didn't age great.
Wonder.
Well, from Chris Morin, I DNF Spirit Tracks, which sucks because I really enjoyed Phantom Hourglass. What does DNF mean?
Did not finish.
Okay.
I was like, do not fuck? What?
I was wondering too. I'm like, that brain went, the fuck's got to be in there somewhere, right? Like,
yeah, right? that's what I... Or that's like a warning, like this one has a DNF on it. Like don't
fuck with it.
Like it's like a I don't know. Yeah, it's like you can't tell anybody or something.
From Jacob Shoemake, I really like this game and Phantom Hourglass a lot. I feel like they are both overhated. Spirit Tracks has some good music, and I thought it was pretty fun to find all the hidden pieces of tracks. Yeah. Yeah,
when you have the time, yeah, it is fun to do it.
And I guess I said earlier, the music is baller. And if you guys remember, there's that really awesome Spirit Tracks like level in Smash Brothers where you can fight on the train. Like I thought that was really cool too.
Which
You remember-
Smash Brothers?
on Wii U, on the Smash Bros.
Oh.
Wii U. It's probably on Ultimate too, I'm sure, because they put everything on there. But yeah,
The one
that was
never played.
a stage you
On the
could
menu.
do where the train's moving and you fight on top of it, and it's looks like the DS game, and I always thought that was really cool.
One thing I do admit that I like too that they've been doing with Smash, I like how they incorporate all the characters, game stuff that they do. Isn't Zelda's like parry when the armor doesn't the armor come out like defend her or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't the armor that like the spirit armor represented in some way in Smash Brothers in the last one?
Yeah,
There's
they have
also the
a
Spirit Tracks level too.
They do have it, the Spirit Train in Ultimate and for the 3DS.
First time you saw it was on the Wii U one, because I remember
3DS.
I got the soundtracks, or was it the DS one, or
It was the
3DS one?
3DS version, yeah.
Well, the 3DS one came out first, right? Because in the Wii U one, the only reason I know is because you could get those soundtracks, the CDs, and it was the music's on there for Spirit Tracks of the Smash Brothers CDs. There was some sort of, let's try to get people to buy the Wii U or whatever thing where you got it.
Yeah, you get the soundtrack for free.
That soundtrack was great. Yeah, it was the red and blue disc for the 3D and Wii U version.
Apparently, you could see Link as engineer on it too.
Yeah, unless Link was actually a character, then he wouldn't appear.
Hmm.
It was
cool.
Show up
It
in
was-
the ground.
he wouldn't be on the train. It was the other, I forget his name now, conductor
The
guy.
engineer guy that.
The engineer would be running the train
Oh,
instead of Link.
that's a nice detail.
Oh, and in the IGN review, one of the pluses is 25-hour single player. I disagree with that being a plus, but okay.
Back then they wanted that. They liked the unnecessary padding.
Back then, yeah. I mean, I guess you're playing handheld, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just like,
Everything had to be like a certain amount. It was before they were trying to push the whole well, what if it's a great experience and it's only like 6 hours, like sort of thing. I feel
yeah, like we are now.
Yeah.
A lot of
And the
people-
character's name was Alfonso.
Yeah, Alfonso, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's games now where what was it? Hellblade 2. People got pissy because it was a 5 to 6 hour game, and they're calling it trash because of that, just because of the length. And it's like,
yeah, people still do that, but I feel like there's been a push for people saying like, oh, well, wouldn't it be better for it to be a more solid 6 hours than a really annoying 50 hours or whatever? Like
You don't need, 20 hours is a good length.
I'm in support of shorter games.
Same.
We can get through more.
Yeah, we're adults.
Yeah.
We don't got time. From Ken Pittman, everyone kept saying Skyward Sword need a remake because they didn't like the motion controls, but this and Hourglass are the ones that need to remake the most because I could never actually play this physically. There's emulation mods that did it, so Nintendo can do it.
That's what I'm saying. FF the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Put this on Switch, remade without screen controls.
I would love a 2-pack of these on
As
Switch.
a as a 2-pack, and and bring back that Toon Link style.
Yeah.
It could be
From
fun.
Trent Allen, what's more fun than rolling around Hyrule going choo choo? A lot of things. From Reese Mechanic, friend of the show. I like this one a bit more than Phantom Hourglass. I just really dislike Hourglass's overworld, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of either of them. The overworld theme is in Spirit Tracks goes hard though. Here you go. Someone agrees with me. From Bernard Anosin. I have played and beaten every main Zelda game. This one is by far one of the worst ones. It's just so mediocre and tedious. And from Lance Howard, outside of the microphone uses, I generally enjoyed the DS games. From the official Laser Time community. From Maxwell Power, I hate these games. Hate them. From Andrew Harbor, I personally love Spirit Tracks, which I was especially surprised by because I fell off its predecessor, the Phantom Hourglass. My only holes in the Zelda series lie on the Game Boy with Ages and Oracles. I also need to finish the Minish Cap, and I really need to get on it considering how easily available they've been made to me. Yes,
I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie to y'all. I'm probably gonna play Minish Cap next.
You should. Minish Cap is, I did it for the show a while ago, but Minish Cap is
do a Minish Cap episode.
amazing.
it's great.
Great game. It's,
Minish Cap was a lot of fun. Even though I think I put this game above Minish Cap in my Zelda ranking.
Were you high or drunk or both at the same time?
No, I like I said, I had really good memories of Spirit Tracks, and I still, it was a product of the time. It was, it was a style of the time to make people blow on your 3DS or on your DS or whatever control with the touchscreen.
Yeah, I never want to do it again. I know I will because I'm trying to play now that I have had that flash card. I'm trying to play more DS games because I missed that entire library. I didn't really have it. I had a DS, but I just didn't use it much, and I got into 360, and then that was the end of that. But I'm trying to go back and play DS games people recommend to me.
Have you ever played Hotel Dusk?
No, but I know I need to.
Yeah, if you do an episode, let me know.
Okay.
I'm
I've been
hoping they
pushing for him to
remake that.
do Professor Layton.
There's a lot of. Yeah, I mean, the DS was like has so many amazing games on it. So yeah, you'll have a lot of fun. I mean, hopefully not all of them you have to blow constantly on it.
No, I did The World Ends with You on DS, and that was fun. That was a little bit of blowing, but it registered.
That had really weird mechanics to it too. With
but it worked.
I was so sad that I couldn't find my copy of it. I thought I still had it because I was just listening to Retronauts episode about it, and I was like, oh, I want to play that again. And
You can listen to it.
maybe I might
one episode too.
might have I might have traded it in or something, but I wanted to play it again.
And from the Giant Bomb group, from Alex Wilkie, Phantom Hourglass was an often dull proof of concept. Spirit Tracks is pure fun. From Joshua Ruth, I wanted to knock this off the list as well, but it's so dang expensive. From Andrew Hunt, I had a similar issue with the other DS one. The gestures to do things were frustrating. Maybe I'm just bad at circles, but it would say to draw a circle to roll or whatever, and I'd do that and Link wouldn't roll. Very annoying when I'm playing the game and then have to get out of the game and focus on a specific movement to get the DS to recognize it. Oh, from Jack Storm, I have some fond memories playing this in the back of the car on a road trip, but the sounds of the car made it hard for the mic to detect blowing into, or my mic was somewhat broken. It's been years since I played through. I think if I were to check it out again, I would try it with a D-pad patch. It has one of the funniest anti-piracy measures that I remember reading about, where all it does is remove the brakes and whistle on the train, making you fail the tutorial section.
Yeah.
Well,
Really? I remember that.
okay. Oh, and then he even says, I kind of remember it being one of the games where you would see forum posts asking how to get past the tutorial section, and people accidentally outing themselves that they pirated it. Here's a good one from Paul Lucci. I am very glad the blow your nasty ass breath onto this handheld era has ended. I also did not enjoy dragging the stylus around for movement. And then I posted in 3 Zelda groups. I will not be able to read all these, but I will try to read what I can. From Henry Alfonso, you can blow into the pan pipes. Game of the year material right there. I hope he's kidding. From Michael Bowser, the stylus to move was terrible, as you know, and the blowing into the mic infuriating to say the least. That being said, I did manage to enjoy it on subsequent playthroughs. Using the cannon was a cool Zelda experience, and I'm not sure I remember cannons again until you fire that Goron moron at things at Death Mountain.
Yeah, he's got a point. Yeah, the cannons did pop out of style until Breath of the Wild.
I love that name, Goron Moron. I wish I would have said that to that fucker.
That was good. I got to remember that one too. That's a joke.
I hated that guy. Didn't he said like, "Let me do it" or something like that? He like kept talking to you through the whole. I hated that whole dungeon. I thought it was my least favorite dungeon in that.
From Cameron Clark, I tried over and over again to enjoy the DS versions of Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, and I just couldn't get into them. I love the concept, but the stylus movement just drove me nuts. From Chris Caceres, I tried it on an emulator, and I didn't care for this for Phantom Hourglass. From Nafis Rafi, I played it too. It was so hard for me to pass those flute-using parts. By the way, check out Phantom Hourglass sometime, which I did. From Sean Fox, I played Phantom Hourglass and had similar issues, so I get it. From Ryan Moore, I enjoyed Phantom Hourglass more than Spirit Tracks, but both are decent games. And last one from this group, Sio Kelly, this and Phantom Hourglass need modern remakes. We're not the only ones. All right, from the Legend of Zelda Hub, from Kaylee Shaw, I love Spirit Tracks so much and genuinely had so much fun playing it. Didn't know how people hated it so much, so I looked online. Fab soundtrack.
Yep.
I heard it. It was on. From Thomas Abraham, I found it to be so dumbed down. There was no puzzle factor left, nothing to figure out. Combat was simple and spontaneous, definitely for a younger audience, I suppose. What game did he play?
Mm-mm.
Wasn't the game I played. The puzzles were there. The bell puzzles in the ice temple were a bit challenging. I mean, I used a guide, but it wasn't.
It is. The trains do tend to appeal to tend to appeal to the kid in all of us.
Yeah, I did like the idea of the train. I did like blowing the whistle for no reason and irritating my wife when I played it without headphones at one point. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm a train."
I gotta stun these bird enemies. It's important.
Oh, there were no bird enemies. I was just doing it to do it.
And then again, there's the.
You can say that, but later in the fire area, you do have to stun those bird enemies.
Oh yeah,
that was annoying.
Which that was kind of fun.
And then in the dark realm, when we do the as Mike calls it, the Pac-Man part, we can also release our inner Gomez Adams.
That's when the sound went turned off, by the way. So sound got turned off in that part. I didn't want to hear it nonstop, but it was cool. All right, from Chris Nathaniel Wright, the blowing into the microphone is literally the worst. Definitely happy to play it, but that was torture. Not wrong. From Lane Anderson, it scratched an itch at the time. Personally, I would rather play this again than either of the last 2 Zelda in quotation games.
We got some haters of the Breath of the Wild and
I was a hater, but then I saw the light when I played through it this year.
I'm
Fucking awesome.
I'm still kind of a hater. I mean, I put like 200 hours into Tears of the Kingdom, but I still miss the older Zeldas. I mean, I'm tired of building things. Why do you have to build things and everything? Like, come on.
Well, if you don't like building, why don't you play Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts? There's no building in that game.
That game looked like trash. This is on Xbox.
It is.
Yeah, those.
It is trash.
From Michael David Marshall, at least it had a much better soundtrack than Phantom Hourglass. I don't remember. So, all right. And last group from Legend of Zelda Stoners. Just going to read a few of these. Was from Heather Krishimano. I got this when it came out and found it equal parts delightful and frustrating. From Mark W. Spirit Tracks was awesome. From Laura D. La Cruz, same. I'll play any Zelda game. This one and Phantom Hourglass are pretty good. From Matthew Ayla, most underrated 2D Zelda ever. I don't know. Would you consider this 2D?
No.
I mean, it's top
It's
down.
top
It
down.
is top down.
Okay.
Yeah,
You guys
so-
are,
Yeah, I
Never
guess.
mind.
Yeah.
There's no camera angles.
yeah.
So
that-
it's 2D.
All right. From Kenny Mack, I liked it. I didn't mind the touch controls. The flute sucked in the DSi XL, though. The microphone placement was inconvenient, to say the least. Multiplayer was insanely fun, too. However, I get that not every Zelda game and almost every game in the series for at least has one central gimmick. For example, I found myself struggling to enjoy Tears of the Kingdom at time due to the sheer amount of material farming.
I completely forgot that there was a multiplayer mode on there. I
Me
mean,
too.
obviously,
Yeah.
any of us did it because who has multiple? I mean, maybe you have multiple DSs, but you have multiple Spirit Tracks carts to
Yeah.
get it
Were
working.
people willing to play it?
Or
But
anybody
at least
who
that
wants
proves
to
my
play it.
point about the mic.
I didn't know this game had multiplayer. I forgot that.
Yeah, I forgot it too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the only way you would know. Like I said, you have to reset it when you start it. It says like single or multiplayer.
This is an adventure or battle, and I was wondering what battle was.
Yeah, I figure that's
Makes sense.
Never played it. I would say, did anybody here play it? Like even when it was fresh in 2000?
I don't remember playing it.
Yeah, me either.
Okay. And last comment from Jared Verplucky. I have been putting this one off. Not as much of a fan of the intuitive games. Not sure what he means by that, but okay.
Inutive? What
Yeah.
is that a word?
Intuitive.
I don't know. That's what he. Yeah, maybe that's the word, and I just can't speak.
Animated or intuitive? Yeah.
We'll go with that. That Mike just can't speak.
No
So, yeah.
comment.
Okay. Yeah, and then
I've
before
seen you text.
yes, no, that's completely fair. I not anyone that's seen me text knows, and anyone who's been to this podcast has seen me text. So yes, and we're gonna give away a Steam code real quick before we go on to Shelf Stacker Box. Let me just see here. I'm getting through my collection of Steam codes, but here we'll give out something good for a change. I'm tired of giving out Walking Dead codes. I still have another one, but not this week. Celeste. This is the Steam code for Celeste. The code is TJDXKQ7I7MAC6. That is your Steam code for Celeste.
Looks like an interesting little game.
You haven't played it?
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
should.
Speaking of baller soundtracks, holy shit! Like Celeste soundtrack is amazing. The game is amazing too. But
I need to play it. I've heard nothing but good things about it over the years. I have it, obviously. I don't know.
it's very good, and the soundtrack is amazing.
One day I'm gonna get to it. I've almost put it on the show a couple times. I just haven't yet, but I know I should play it because it looks amazing, and I've heard great things. So
It is marked similar to Little Nightmares 2. Similar to games I've played.
I don't know. I never played those Nightmare games. I mean,
I tried.
I don't know. I wouldn't. From looking,
They are fun.
I don't think it looks like a Little Nightmares 2 at all. But I mean,
No, like similar play style or something. It has.
I mean, it's a hard ass platformer. Is basically what it is.
Yeah, Little Nightmares.
I can see that.
I tried. My Steam Deck played it once and then decided it would never recognize it again and started up.
Little Nightmare.
Oh, never mind.
Little Nightmares is more of a like kind of horror puzzle game. Celeste is straight up like that. Was it the Mario Kaizo kind of platformer where
Yeah,
like
something like
you're I think I got to like the ghost boss and like my hand started cramping up and I never picked it up ever again.
It's
That's why I was confused about the similarities between the two of them because I'm like these games are not alike at all. not in the game. Not in the gameplay.
I think it's also marked with the tags. I mean, I'm looking at the tags in our precision platformer, puzzle platformer, atmospheric, exploration, side scroller, indie. Just out of my own curiosity, what tags are there on there? Puzzle platformer for Little Nightmares, great soundtrack, indie, story rich. So yeah, there's some other tags that hold similar. I'm not going to go any farther.
Okay. All right. Let's let's go to Shelf Stacker Box. And Joe, what about you?
Yeah, this is getting straight up thrown in the box. I know some people, a lot of comments saying that you can't find this game physically. I know, like Etsy or eBay or whatever, if you don't really genuinely give a shit, there are people that make copy cartridges, and they work perfectly well, things like that. And I'm hoping they work as good. Hopefully,
it's only like $50 though, like for the card only. So it's not too bad.
I'm looking at it right now, and actually, if you don't mind, you can buy the Japanese version, which works because it's not region locked, for like $15.
Yeah, these games were not popular. Whenever Mike talked about doing both of them, I looked them up, and I think I found some places where it's like, oh, you can buy both of them for like $40, which wasn't bad.
No, that's not bad.
I didn't have $40 at the time though, but yeah, like I don't know if it was just like maybe because I was using an emulator, because I had a hack 3DS and I was playing it on a DS emulator on a 3DS. I don't know, maybe if that's what it was or whatever, but I think also at the end of the day, if I really wanted to, if I ever want to go back to these, I think I'm just going to look up on how to do the mod and play it on my PC, because those touch controls and the breath controls are just completely, absolutely wacky.
I'll say if you get the Delta emulator for your iPhone, you can play it on there. The emulator, which actually works pretty well.
You can actually still get it from Walmart for $17.99.
Like what? No. It's not Walmart. It's you buy stuff through Walmart, like how you buy stuff through Amazon.
Yeah, they became eBay for some reason.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I don't think it's not Walmart and buy it.
Not that expensive on eBay, like $65. Okay, that's just the game. I mean, there's some better deals, but it's not terrible.
Some of them are a little bit questionable. I mean, I see one here for Amazon. You could get it for $19.47. Oh wait, no, that's the book.
Yeah. All right, and Richard, what about you?
You know, I was debating this one. I think and this is also probably because of my age, and as well as trying to do it for a time limit, and I guess my mood at the time. But I'm going to put it in the stack. This is a game that you can replay when you're younger. I mean, if they take away the blowing into the microphone capabilities, it would be definitely, I would probably put it on, rank it higher than Phantom Hourglass. But like I said, the blowing is, the older you get, it's not something you can do. And of course, after looking into things and knowing how ununiform microphone placement is with the 3DS, with the DS and the 3DSs, that hurts it. It's an outside factor that hurts it for replayability. But yeah, I'm going to put in the stack.
Okay. I'll go next. I'm going to put this in the box, just like Joe. I fucking did not enjoy this game. I played it. I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I beat it. But yeah, I'm good. I don't need to mess with it again, but I'm glad that I experienced it finally. So
one of these days I need to see how many games I box, because I don't box games very often either. I don't think you do either, do you, Mike?
I do. No, I don't. I don't box very often. I don't know, Richard, are you still working on that list?
I've sort of been trying to keep my spirits up, so I've got tons of these episodes as of the time of this recording I need to listen to yet.
Oh no, you're all good. I was just curious. And Barry, what about you?
You know, even though the flute mechanic certainly isn't work as properly as it should due to the hardware, and as aging, holding the stylus does get a little more cramped as his time has gone on, and unfortunately, I'm still going to put this on the shelf because I do enjoy it more than Phantom Hourglass. I do love the train overworld. I know some people don't, but I really enjoyed that mechanic, and that it changed things up, and that it continued the story and it allowed Zelda to be more involved and be a part of the adventure. And for all the negatives, I feel the positives outweigh it. And it's certainly something that I would love to see get an HD re-release with new quality of life features, because the music is banger. I like the story. I like that it wasn't another Ganon. It was, we're branching off, and unique bosses, like I said, like not really repeats, and unique designs. And I think that while it hasn't aged the best, I still think it's a great time.
Yeah, you have your points are all well there. Like I said, if it's re-released with those quality of life improvements, yeah.
Oh yeah, I hope so. That'd be great. I think after that survey happened, and it was like 88% of retro games are not playable on modern platforms or whatever. It's they're starting to realize, bring some back. And although unfortunately, even if they do a re-release, it's technically a different version than the original. It will be slightly different, but at least it'll be playable and enjoyable. And they've been doing really well with their quality of life updates. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD especially had some nice quality of life improvements, and like we were just talking, Thousand Year Door has some great quality of life improvements. So I'd love to see this and Phantom Hourglass both get that type of treatment as well, brought to the Switch, and higher definition graphics, and do something about the microphone, figure some way out where you could just push a button that registers as a blow, or something like A equals blowing or whatever. Like, I'd be so happy with that.
Same.
I mean, we don't know what Grezzo's doing. I mean, they could be working on this. A lot of people think Ages and seasons, but I would rather see this get a remake than those. Yeah.
I mean, this needs it more because Ages and Seasons are still just as playable today as they were then.
And also, so they're already on Switch.
Yeah, they're on NSO already. So naturally, that when they were announced, that kind of led people to say, well, maybe they're not doing a remake. But of course, Link's Awakening DX is also on Switch. But again, it's a different version of the remake. So who knows?
Well, I mean, Link's Awakening, the only one that's on there is, or no, I guess it is.
DX
right?
is there.
Is
yeah, not the original, but the DX Game Boy Color version is on NSO.
Yeah, well, it came out a while after the.
Yeah, it came after, but it is there.
Yeah, it's each one. Like when you're talking Link's Awakening, I played the original, played DX, played the Switch version, have owned each of them at some point. They each have, like DX, they replaced the stone pieces with owls, stone owl, stone beak, and they added the photo thing because that was the gimmick at the time. And then it's the dungeon maker.
Well, the Dungeon Maker
Switch.
wasn't the new one, but the Color Dungeon was added in DX as well.
Yeah, DX added the color dungeon because, again, it worked with the gimmick of having color. Yep. So,
and that's there, too, in the Switch version.
Yeah, and they still kept the one thing that was in the first version that was even in DX and in the Switch version. The damn Phantom Key in the third dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a key you get right near the end that has no lock to go to.
Yep. But I think at this point it's just like for fun. Like it's part of the culture. Like, let's just keep it there. But still, I mean, we don't know what Grezzo's doing, and who knows? Truthfully, we're recording this now on Father's Day, and there's a rumored Nintendo Direct this week, if not next week for sure, because they said in June. And this could all be announced, and you could be listening to this and go, well, duh, they already talked about what they're doing, but we don't know it at this point of recording.
Yeah.
But we predicted it if it happens.
If it happened, we did it right.
Okay, so we're predicting stuff, right? Hopefully this goes in reverse. There will be no announcement for Silk Song. Okay, there, I got my 2 cents in.
There won't be.
Silk Song doesn't exist. It's all like a fever dream.
I'm going to rip out like my own heart and eat it live on camera.
It's like it's like Metroid Prime 4, right? That also doesn't exist.
Oh, that's at least being developed.
I mean,
I forgot about that. That's been years.
Yeah.
Both Metroid Prime 4 and Silk Song have the same issue, which I think they had to redo it. They were like halfway through the game and they're like, oh, there's a new engine out and we have to redo it. Especially, I don't remember what it was with Metroid Prime 4, but I do know the fact that they
switched companies with Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
But early on, that was in 2018, they announced they switched companies. But it was being worked on. But Metroid Prime 4 was unfortunately the product of its time in the sense of Nintendo doesn't like to announce games early. They like to announce games when it's close to coming out. Like Mario Wonder was announced and came out in like 2 months, and that's a mainline Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they like to do it.
So it's weird. Yeah, they rarely do the here's a logo, wait.
But they did it. If you look at when they did it E3 in 2017, coming off the Wii U, which was a disaster for them. The Switch had just launched. It was doing exceptionally well, and they wanted to keep that hype rolling. That's why they announced it then. And if you remember, they announced Metroid Samus Returns in the Treehouse after the Direct. It wasn't even part of the Direct.
Yeah.
And that's like, that should have been part of the Direct too, but it wasn't. But they put Metroid Prime 4 in there just to like keep that rolling. Like, yeah, look, buy the Switch. We're giving you the games you want. And of course, the Switch is fantastic. But that's why the Metroid Prime 4 was announced so early, to keep that rolling. And unfortunately, they weren't expecting the delays they had to do, and they're still dealing with, and who knows what's going on with it now.
I can't wait to go play the sequel to Metroid Dread at some point during this next couple of months.
Metroid Dread was fantastic.
I'm talking
They're making
about
a sequel to Dread?
Yeah, it's already out. It's Prince of Persia.
Oh.
That's another great game.
I was gonna say,
I do need to play that.
That's not Mercury Steam, though. That's Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Still a really good game though. A really good.
Yes.
I
Metroid.
think Mercury Steam is working on another Metroid though.
I had a real annoying bug with that game, which I talked about a bunch on our podcast. But
Yes, you did.
it's Mike, I'm sure you heard it. But
I did.
thankfully, it got fixed finally. But yeah, it was,
Good.
the whole
That's
game
right.
completely stopped working, and my save got.
Oh,
Dang,
I felt
that
bad
sucks.
for you.
it's
it
such
might-
a good game.
But by the time it got fixed, I didn't care anymore. So I haven't really played it. But I mean, I cared enough to check, I guess. And they did finally fix my save that got corrupted out of nowhere for whatever reason. Yeah, there's a shit ton of bugs in that game.
They've patched it since.
Yeah,
Significantly.
I mean, they finally fixed mine. I was actually the only person that I found that had that bug, where it just got to the point where it wouldn't load anymore, and my save data was just a whole bunch of gibberish. Like it said that last time I played was the year 3054 or something like that. It was like all like,
you time traveler.
yeah, it was all like, all right, yeah, it's like a destination unknown. Also, I'll shelf this game. We never got to me on this.
No, I was about to, but yes, we kept talking.
It's fine. I'll shelf it just because, I mean, physically, do we ever actually box things? No. But I mean, it's it's a Zelda game. You put it on the shelf with everything else. But I've always this has actually been one that I've always felt good about, and I'm glad that I played it again. I don't hate it. I still like it better than Link's Awakening, which just because I just
right in the heart.
I just hate the way the overworld is designed on that game. It's really annoying to play. That's
If they added choo choo, you'd be better then.
that's my piece with that. No, I could never. I never beat the game, and it's
Oh my god.
Missing out.
yep. So I'd always put it higher than Link's Awakening, and probably any of the other. Actually, not Link Between Worlds, but any of the other handhelds. I'll put it above that. So I like Spirit Tracks, and yeah, it would be great to see a remake. Yeah, Blowing sucks, but it was the style at the time.
Where'd you put it again there? Shelf or stack?
Shelf.
Whatever the good one is.
He did shelf.
Okay.
All right, and then I should know what we're talking about next week. Next week, you can hear me talk about Assassin's Creed 3. I'm excited to talk about that game. So
I didn't get past the fucking prologue already.
yeah, it takes a bit. And two of the three people in this episode,
The game.
or three of the people that are on this episode, will be back for next week. So
Ah,
Not me. I can't stand it. Serious.
Not me.
I played 2. That was enough.
I like
That's fair.
three, but-
okay, that's
Yeah.
fair too.
I was playing some Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider last night, and I'm like keeping up my wolf killing here. Controlling the wolf population.
Tomb Raider's fun in its janky way. Like I really liked the re-release of it, remake, whatever, on Switch. I was having a lot of fun with that, with the
Oh yeah,
Tomb Raider trilogy.
it is definitely fun.
Yeah, it's janky as fuck, but it's if you understand it as like a puzzle box, it can be really fun.
Yes, but not a certain puzzle box.
Nah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
talking
a
about
Cenobite
Hellraiser.
one. I don't know that. Was that a
It was a
Cenobite?
Hellraiser joke.
Yeah, I've seen those movies, all of them.
I've seen 2 of them so far.
No, I thought even some of the bad ones were good, except for that one with Henry Cavill in it. Don't watch that one.
that's the one I want to watch.
The Hell World or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a video game.
I would say do an episode on that, because that movie has like 3 different endings and none of them make sense. It's like they really didn't know what to do at the end there. It's like
Now-
I have this and this and
It'll
also.
probably happen.
Hellworld,
more
that's the one with
interested.
Lance Henriksen in it.
I thought that was Henry Cavill's in it too, right?
Yeah, he's in it too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, I mean, those last like 4 or 5 are all just like stories that had nothing to do with Hellraiser, where they're just like, we'll throw Pinhead in there, and we can make
The
it.
only thing
They're all kind of option scripts or whatever.
He's fun to play as in Dead by Daylight, though.
Sure.
In that. Oh, and before we go to plugs, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to Barry and Richard. And I know Barry, it's your first Father's Day.
Yes, it is. Happy Father's Day to you too.
Thank you. And happy Father's Day to you too. Well, everybody's going to hear this a little bit after Father's Day. And
that's fine.
why is it? We're recording Father's Day.
But you guys heard, and I want to make sure I said it, so I've been waiting to say it. And then let's go to plugs. Trey, where can people find you at?
I have a podcast called Nintendo Main, which you can find weekly on whatever your podcast thing is. I redid the website. There's a NintendoMainPodcast.com. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/NintendoMainPodcast. If you want to hear what the 3 of us thought about Zelda games, you can find it on there. We did a ranking where we went through all of the mainline Zelda games, console and handheld, and kind of put them wherever we would place them on our lists, and then tallied the points and all that, and and yelled about Spirit Tracks and Link's Awakening, all that fun stuff.
And Barry.
So you can find me on Twitter over at Hawk Hellfire. You could also find me at nintendofuse.com and on YouTube at Nintendo Fuse, where we do bi-weekly podcast every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern live. And we also find me at premiumeditiongames.com and on social media, Premium Edition Games everywhere, but Twitter, it's at Premium Edition 1, where you can find the latest games we have up for pre-order for the Nintendo Switch physically, as well as a ton of great in-stock games. And stay tuned, we have brand new games coming next month.
So you know Jeffrey Wittenhagen then, right?
I am very good friends with Jeffrey Wittenhagen. Yes, I am.
He was one of our first guests on Nintendo.
Oh,
way
was
back. Yeah, like episode 30 something or something like that. We're like 400 something now.
Yeah, yep. Jeff is the founder of Premium, so I was right there with him.
Yeah, he's
Right.
we've had him. We did an interview with him at one of the Midwest Gaming Classics, whatever the last one we were at. But yeah, no, he's always been very nice to me and super cool. So I like that.
Yeah,
guy.
he's a good guy. I'm happy to be working with him.
Small world sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
And Richard, where can we find you at?
You can find me up on my YouTube page. It's Rich Kale, where I play through various games and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I've been playing through Tomb Raider games, Sherlock Holmes games, the Doom franchise, Sierra games, LucasArts games, a bunch of others. And I got videos that premiere pretty much every day, sometimes twice a day, depending on the day of the week and what I have done. And also I got fixed stuff that I have posted up on sites like fanfiction.net, Archive of Our Own, and Comic Vine.
Okay. And if you enjoyed this episode, you will see over 600 other episodes that we've done of this podcast. Everything we've done of Zelda will be in the show notes. So if you just want to find our Zelda content, you can easily find that. Please join our Discord. Free. Join our Discord. We want more people to join us. If you want to support the show, we do have Patreon for Little Dog. Vote in our Patreon polls. We have 1 or 2 every month. So definitely go do that and support the show. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at HellHasFreak. Follow her on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram. You will see a link to all these gentlemen's stuff in the show notes. And we'll give a shout out to Bill Tucker at A Gamer Looks at 40. Definitely go check out his podcast. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, audio only. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye all.
Have a good one.